Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Shaman King Cardfight Vanguard Yoh Asakura deck profile. This is the latest support for the Shaman King set that we got from the trial deck that released a few days ago. This deck is meant to focus on Yoh Asakura. This deck was actually unplayable until the trial deck came out because there were some needed cards from that deck to use with the new support we got from the title booster as well. We actually got the two sets all together in one, so along with the main grade 3 from the trial deck, we also got the new grade 3 that you ride over, Spirit of Sword, Yoh Asakura, onto Fighting Together, Yoh Asakura, and also mixing some of the other cards from the Funbari Hot Springs team, including Ryu and Faust, into the deck, along with a few cards for Ana Kyoyama to help with the pressure that you can use with your main spirit, Amidamaru and Yoh. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the ride deck, our starter is Yoh Asakura, just the standard. When rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Shaman Yoh Asakura. When this unit is placed on Vanguard by riding from Yoh Asakura, search your deck for up to one Legendary Samurai, Amidamaru, call it to your back row center rear guard, and shuffle your deck. So pretty much the standard setup for your spirits in the deck, being able to search out the grade 1 Legendary Samurai, Amidamaru, just to go for your Oversoul play as soon as you can, with our grade 2 being Fated Battle Yoh Asakura. On Vanguard, when this unit is boosted by a unit with Amidamaru in its card name, you can counter +1, draw a card, and this unit gets plus 5,000 to end of battle. So really, it is a power deck focusing on some pretty big numbers you can hit with Amidamaru. With our grade 3 being Fighting Together, Yoh Asakura. This was the card that was released in the trial deck for the Yoh Asakura deck. Like I said, you really needed the cards from the trial deck to fully build the deck. So along with the 1 copy in the ride deck, we're also running 3 copies in the main deck of Fighting Together, Yoh Asakura, with its Oversoul on Vanguard being a once per turn. Put a rear guard with Amidamaru and its card name into your soul. Draw a card, and this unit gets continuous. All of your front row gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. And when this unit attacks, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, you can counter +1, and this unit gets critical +1 until the end of that battle. So it's really a, back against the wall kind of playstyle. With this card, the more damage you take, the stronger Yoh becomes, which, as the longer the fight goes, the stronger he also gets to really play to the style he had in the anime. For the other grade 3 that we run in the deck, I also run 3 additional copies of Spirit of Sword, Yoh Asakura. If you want to run a 4th copy of this card, you can always drop the number of the Fighting Together Yoh Asakura's down, because you do want to ride into this card as quickly as you can. I would just say it's a better grade 3 to have, but its card can only be ridden from a grade 3 with Yoh Asakura and its card name. And when this unit is placed on Vanguard, this unit gets plus 10,000 in critical +1 until end of turn. So if you Persona ride, you have the plus 10 from the Persona ride on top of the 10,000 critical that this unit has. And on the Vanguard circle, once per turn, you can put a rear guard with Amidamaru and its card name into your soul. Until the end of this turn, all of your front row gets plus 10,000. And when this unit attack, it battles all of your opponent's units in the same column. So this is meant to have the playstyle that you can attack your opponent's Vanguard, but also the spirit behind them, just like how Yoh and Amidamaru would fight the spirit and the shaman themselves. So being able to take out that unit in the back row definitely does help, but then you have that pressure of the additional plus 10 and critical on the turn's place. So you really want to be able to use the Oversoul with the placed on Vanguard skill as quickly as you can also. Moving on to the grade 2s, I run 4 copies of Famous Delinquent, Wooden Sword Ryu. When the attack of your Vanguard with Yoh Asakura and its card name hits, you can counterblast 2 and stand this unit. So even if your opponent guards the Vanguard attack, if they still hit the back row, because all it has to do is when the attack of the Vanguard with Yoh Asakura hits, if you have this unit attack the back row as well as the Vanguard and that unit hits, you can still restand your Wooden Sword Ryu for a counterblast of 2, which you really don't use the counterblast for too much involving the Vanguard Spirit of Sword Yoh Asakura, so you can save them so you can at least get multiple attacks in with cards like this on the rear guard, hitting for 20,000 or 19,000. It's a 19,000 restander for the restand, and then also the Persona ride hitting for some bigger numbers as well. And for some of the other grade 2s, I also run 2 Goddess of Victory, Ana Kyoyama. From the back row center, when the attack of your Vanguard with Yoh Asakura, with Asakura and its card name does not hit, counter +1, rest this unit, and choose one of your Vanguards, stand it, and it gets drive -1 to end of turn. So it's just a restand option. If you wanted to increase the number of Ana Kyoyama, you could drop the number of Ryu down to 3 and put in a 3rd copy of this card. The attack doesn't have to hit, so the chance that both the Oversoul attack of 1 column won't hit is the big problem with this card in the deck, but still good restand pressure if you didn't use that skill that turn to at least restand your Vanguard again for that 5 damage pressure also. And I also run 2 copies of Let's Just Take It Easy. Yoh Asakura, when this unit attacks, this unit gets plus 2,000 to end of that battle for each card in your damage zone. So going with the grade 3 as well, for the more damage you take, the stronger this grade 2 will be as well. And when this unit is attacked, you can Soul Blast 1 till the end of that battle. This unit does not retire if it is hit. So meaning you can just keep this grade 2 alive as long as you have the soul to use for the Soul Blast. And I also run 2 copies of I'll Sacrifice These Legs for Her Sake, Fast the 8th. When this unit is placed on rearguard from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Yoh Asakura and its card name, Counterblast 1, choose a Shaman with a grade equal to or less than your Vanguard from your drop zone and call it to rear. So this is going to set up more columns on the field as well. I was mixing and matching all the different grade 2s for the deck, but I decided to settle on 2 Fast because I also run 2 Iron Maiden Jean just for the Soul Blast countercharge option of making up for some of the counterblasting you'll use with cards like Wooden Sword Ryu, and also even just your grade 3 Fighting Together Yoh Asakura Vanguard. And that's it for the grade 2s. Moving on now to the grade 1s. For our Spirit, I am running 4 copies of Legendary Samurai Amidamaru on rearguard during your turn. If you have a Vanguard with Yoh Asakura and its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000 power, and if that Vanguard is an Oversoul this turn, it gets plus 1 critical. So Spirits normally have 0 critical, but being able to at least put Amidamaru at 1 means you can attack with this card on the rearguard. You may have the 1 on the back row center rearguard that you Oversoul with, but then you can also place this one on an additional rearguard to at least attack into your opponent with on the turn you Oversoul. And for the other grade 1s, I'm running 4 of the Tako Ana Kyoyama. You can run the new Sentinel with the card seal as well. This was just in the trial deck, so a little more readily available for people wanting to build this deck, but it's completely player preference. This card doesn't have the, no discard cost, so you will have to discard regardless of the number of cards in your hand. So if you have the ones from the actual title booster, definitely run those over this card if you have them. And then moving on now to the orders, I run 2 copies of Team Funbari Hot Springs. It's a discard 1 to draw 2 with a plus 10,000 power option. And also, if you have 1 or more units with Yoh Asakura, Wooden Sword Ryu, or Fast the 8th and its card name on your Vanguard or rearguard, discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards, giving you some more makeup for maybe potentially discarding an order and getting some other rearguards you can add to your hand. And you play this if you have a Vanguard with Yoh Asakura, Wooden Sword Ryu, or Fast the 8th in its card name. And then lastly, I also run 2 Tathagata, with this one being a search for either powering up a card on the field or at least setting up an Amidamaru on the field. With the Amidamaru, the only ones we have are the grade 1s or some of the trigger units. So you really want to be able to search and set up your Oversoul as quickly as you can. Now moving on to the triggers, I run 7 criticals, so 4 copies of Unyielding Battle Amidamaru, and 3 copies of Sealed Ultra Senji Ryuketsu. I chose the Amidamaru over the Ryuketsu just so you have more of a choice for the Oversoul to use, since the critical does have Amidamaru in the name. Same with the draw trigger, running 4 copies of Acting Like Yoh Amidamaru for the Oversoul option. And then our heal is also the Complete Body and Soul Devotion Amidamaru, so at least you have the majority of your triggers all being Amidamaru for the Oversoul, with our overtrigger being the Oversoul Strike, the additional damage, and then just the option to play it like an order to retire your opponent's rearguards is definitely scary whenever you go up against it using your opponent's cards to just take away those resources. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, it's a pretty awesome deck and probably one of the easier ones to build just because the majority of the cards that you can use for it are found in the latest trial deck. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.